Hey all, welcome to the channel. My name is Task Force Bourbon, back again tonight doing another blind flight fight. All right, this evening we have another blind flight set up for us, and what we're going to be doing is what you see right here. The Kirkland from Costco lineup. We have the single barrel expression, the bottle and bond expression, and the small batch expression. This is a quick reminder to those tuning in what each one of those are. Is first, the single barrel is a single barrel of bourbon, right? It's usually hand picked as being a premium option. So right off the bat, we could presume that this person right here, this bourbon, is going to be the best of the bunch. But that's not always the case. So we'll find out here in a moment when we get around to tasting all three against one another. And then second up is bottled in bond. So as a quick reminder, bottled in bond has a few rules it has to follow amongst the others that it follows from being a bourbon itself. And those rules are: it has to first be the product of one distillation season, either January to June or July to December, at one distillery by one distiller. The second is it must be aged in a federally bonded warehouse under government supervision for at least 4 years. Right? It also has to be bottled at 100 proof. It has to be labeled with both the identity and location of the distillery and, if different, where it was bottled. And last but not least, much like bourbon itself, it must be the product of the United States of America. That's important because other spirits other than just bourbon may be bottled in bond as well. So they don't have to always follow that rule, but bottled in bond is unique to the United States. And that's something that predates the FDA as a way to ensure that consumers were getting what they paid for and not, underproduced or adulterated spirit, something that had iodine or tobacco spit added to it. And so this is really a humongous thing in the United States market, bottled and bond, and definitely humongous to the bourbon community. Knowing that it's 4 years, knowing that it's got all those control measures in place, knowing that it's 100 proof, something that I'm a fan of. I like things a little bit higher than that because we go from here with a single barrel. This specific single barrel is 120 proof, where you move down the line, you got 100 proof, and then moving into the small batch at 92 proof. Small batch, there's no TTB regulatory guidance what a small batch means, right? We know that it's more than a single barrel. That's all we know. So it could be two, probably not. Right, but it could be anywhere what we see in craft distilleries ranging from 10 to 20 to 50 barrels moved in a small batch, upwards to some of the bigger people on the market like Jim Beam moving into the 200 range for a small batch. It's all relative to the size of the distillery. And so we don't really know. But you would think it would go 1, 2, and 3, and maybe that's what happens. But we'll find out here in a moment. But before we do, we're going to talk a little bit at first about Barton 1792. Why? Because this is a source bourbon, because Costco, no surprise, hopefully, to anybody tuning in, that Costco doesn't have a surprise distillery in the back, unless maybe you get into some, backwoods, Costco that has a still in the back doing something shady, which I'm still probably going to try that too. But until that comes out, that they're producing their own spirit, they're sourcing it, and right now they're sourcing it from Barton. So talking a little bit about that, in 1876, John D. Willett, one of Kentucky's original bourbon aristocrats, transferred his interest into the Willett and Frank distillery to his son-in-laws, Benjamin Mattingly and Thomas Moore. That name sounds familiar because there's right back here, Thomas S. Moore line. That's from Barton. That's their cask finish series. Mattingly and Moore continued to operate the Willett and Frank distillery together until 1881, when Mattingly finally sold his stake in the company to a group of investors. Within a few years, Thomas Moore acquired complete control over the distillery and renamed it. Moore would continue to operate the distillery for another 5 decades until he was ultimately forced to close his doors at the onset of Prohibition. Boo! 1792 is named in honor of the year Kentucky joined the United States. Right, 1792. And that's surprise, surprise, because Barton was actually established in 1879. And his distinction of being the oldest fully operational distillery in Bardstown, Kentucky. Okay, the distillery is situated on 196 acres, has 29 barrel aging warehouses, and 22 additional buildings, including their impressive still house. Currently, there are 8 1792 expressions offered by the distillery, including their small batch, sweet wheat, high rye, aged 12 years, full proof, bottled and bond, and a single barrel offering. The 1792 small batch is one of 7 limited expressions that has been released by the distillery. All right, but enough about them. Costco has become legendary in the whiskey world for curating excellent spirits at their aggressive member pricing. So if you don't know Costco, Costco is someone who has a membership, shopping experience where you can buy in bulk for cheap. Right? Costco is one of the world's largest retailers of alcoholic beverages, surprisingly. In 2020, Costco sold roughly 5.5 billion, that's billion with a B, of alcoholic beverages. Their sales in 2021 were expected to surpass 6 billion. I don't have those current numbers. It's now 2022. Like many other retailers, Costco has its own proprietary brand, Kirkland Signature. Right? The brand is named after the city of Kirkland, Washington, the location of Costco's head office. Their Kirkland Signature vodka, scotch, and tequila are all excellent, according to some, but Kirkland Bourbon has always fallen flat. Boom, boom, boom. But in 2021, Costco once again changed where they are sourcing their whiskey, as we talked about already. Costco's original bourbon bottlings were sourced from Jim Beam and then George Dickel. Earlier in 2021, they announced that they settled on Barton 1792 Distillery to carry the Kirkland Bourbon flag moving forward. Surprisingly, Costco has announced that Barton will not be providing only one type of expression, but instead will be helping bottling 3 versions, right, as we see here. These include the small batch, the bottled and bond, and a single barrel. They're each bottled at 1 liter, as you note how large they are as compared to a 750 milliliter standard offering. The mash bill of the Kirkland Signature Bourbon is not disclosed, but they're supposedly in line with the Barton 1792 mash bill, which also is undisclosed, but is believed to be a high rye mash bill. And we have that here before you as far as the community understands it, being a 74% corn, 18% rye, 8% barley, and a 3.5 barrel char level, entering the barrel at 125 proof. That's as far as the community understands it, officially undisclosed. But enough about the history. That's all great and fine and dandy, but what we're here to do is do a blind flight fight, so that's exactly what we're going to do just now. So we're going to move over glass 1 into camera, and then move glass 2 if it's not going to be stuck to the table. I have no idea what bottles are in the glasses before me, as they've been laid out before me. But we're going to go ahead and figure out not necessarily the tasting notes per se, but we're going to try to figure out, maybe they'll pop out once in a while, but we're going to try to figure out which is better, and I'm going to go move them forward like a race car kind of fashion here, and figure out which one is going to go ahead and take the crown today. So starting out with glass, actually we're going to go ahead and look real quick, line the level here. They all share very similar colors, I believe, right up front. Maybe glass 2 looks a bit darker. I'm not going to try to play the guessing game. I'm literally trying to do the best I can to go ahead and block all that out. It's almost impossible to do. But glass 1 smells fairly complex. It's got a lot of heart to it. It's sticking right to the glass. I haven't really given it a good swirl yet. I'm doing that now. And it's sticking right to the glass. It's got some nice viscosity to it. I'm really bad at giving nosy notes, but I'm a little bit better, I'd like to think, at the tasting, and so we'll go ahead and move into that. Wow. This has some good punch to it. This is a good bourbon. I'm hoping that this is a single barrel just because, I want my own biases to win out, but it's got a nice, healthy oak throughout. The char level, if that is right, 3.5, I would probably have guessed a touch higher because there's a lot of char on this, but not like something like some of the Wild Turkey stuff I've gotten, which really stands out to me. It's got some maybe it's like a nutmeg, some kind of off baking spice note, not your traditional cinnamon or something like that. Maybe a touch cherry. But again, I'm not trying to spend too much time doing that. We'll go ahead and move this glass around a little bit, get the juice swirling. A little thinner, but still a healthy amount of viscosity to it. Let's go ahead. I'm just going to move the glass 3 and try to match the same. A little lighter on glass 3. But this is a humongously different nose. This is banana all day. That's banana bread. Banana bread. Wow, that's lovely. Who doesn't love banana bread? My goodness. Man, that's it. All day. That's glass 1. That's taking first place so far. Just because that's my biases. I don't care. You can tune in. You might find you like the oak or whatever better. I love oak. I love mature stuff. But, man, I've got to love affair with banana nut bread. Holy crap. That flavor note is really enjoyable. Rich, well-balanced. A splash of cinnamon. It's like literally banana bread. You're drinking banana bread with maybe some like baking spices, like a really well crafted. I love it. I love glass 2. This is a good bourbon. This is one I would recommend because of that note. If you don't like banana bread, then you're probably not gonna like it. But I like it. I think glass 2 is winning for me. I'm gonna move over to glass 3 now. That same banana bread note is there, a lot lighter, with some oak. It's definitely maybe a touch more balanced. This is more prominent. It's almost like a banana nut bread finished bourbon, whereas this one's like just got some of those notes in there. I was really hoping it was gonna be easy because glass 2 I thought was gonna be easy win, but I think glass 2 and 3, because of the commonalities, are gonna have to fight. You can. Let's do it. Nice healthy oak, really subtle. Maybe a touch tannicness. What you really want to do is that Kentucky chew. The idea is to wash it around the mouth, hitting all the aspects of the tongue, the sweet, the sour, the umami, the bitter, all that good stuff. You really want to see how that palate changes throughout the tongue as it goes back and forth or whatever, where it finishes that thin. And then how do you feel? Just sometimes we get all caught up. I gotta get this, seasoned cherry that was, it's seen 3 days summer and 6 winters, right? Who cares? What you really need to really do is, do you like it, right? What's that initial impression? Could you drink it all night? Is it a one-off? And I think this is more balanced, but I like the way this tastes. Let me try it. I'm sorry, I just like the way the flavor tastes there. Let's try glass 1 versus glass 3. Glass 2's taking the trophy. Glass 1 and glass 3 are gonna go ahead and give a quick fight. Almost none of that oak note. But glass 1, I think, is gonna. This is more traditional bourbon. I'm almost like thinking I'm doing like a banana bread finished bourbon flight fight right now, but I'm not. I think I like glass 1 better than glass 3. Quick rinse. I need to get one last time. Bear with me, y'all. Keep in there. If you got them, pour them. Drink them with me. Very clear spirit. Water. Let's go ahead and try this one last again. Maybe a touch caramel on the back, which is, again, not very uncommon for bourbon. This is nothing to write home to mom about. Neither is glass 3. But because they're really kind of, I think glass 1 and glass 3 could be tied. I think what I'm going to do is, because this has another note of complexity, I really think, even though this one has more punch to it, Probably single barrel. I think I'm gonna let Glass 3 win because it's got that one note I like. So, are you all ready for it? The big reveal? I know I am. All right, from worst to best, we're gonna start off with Glass 1 is taking home number 3 position. It is, in fact, the single barrel. I kind of figured as much due to the kind of punch that I had. I had the high proof. But let me go ahead and say this is probably the small batch. It is a small batch. The small batch takes second place. And I really think that speaks volumes to the consistency that a small batch can provide. The single barrel to your single barrel is probably different. When you move over to something like Buffalo Trace, where like Blanton's, love it or hate it, that iron, that tin-clad warehouse H, that small area where they produce that one product, even though it is a single barrel, can provide that level of consistency despite it being a single barrel. Maybe that's not true for other places. So when you move into a small batch arena, the large batch arena, you get that consistency, you get something that you're aiming for every single time. And tonight, it won out over the single barrel. So what does that leave? That leaves the bottled and bond. So that light is pretty bright. I'm just trying to make sure it's official so no one calls me a liar. All right, there's the bottled and bond. Bottled and bond. I love bottled and bond. I'm a bourbon guy. If you're a bourbon guy or gal, you better love bottled and bond. At least what it has done to the bourbon industry. And tonight, in the Costco Kirkland signature line, it has won out over the single, over the small batch. If you see one, buy it. If you see all three, buy them and do this flight and then let me know what you thought. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and end this with cheersing to you all, and thanks for joining in. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you've had one, you've had two, you've had three, let me know what you thought. And until next time, cheers.